Okay, just like a good cooking show, we have kind of a head start here for you guys. So, just to kind of recap on the little leader that I did there, two strokes really like race gas. You guys can run 91 on your bikes. Probably not going to be a big deal, but two strokes really, really like race gas. It's expensive. So I always recommend buying it if you can, especially if you're going to be storing it. One of the reasons I like race gas because there's no ethanol in it here in California. We have a very high ethanol content in our fuel. It goes sour. It doesn't last long. And so I buy, these 5 gallon cans of VP, and I'll usually store it with it in there. I might even break some of this with some race gas, do a 50-50 deal. Probably pan out with 91 to about 100 octane. That's just fine. But my two strokes have always kind of run decent on pump gas anyway, regardless of what some people say. But that is going to have a few factors, heat, or it's cold. I mean, things can really change jetting and combustion and all that stuff a lot. But typically, you're going to be fine. So today, for example purposes, VP 110, you don't need anything fancy. This is just 110 octane race gas. None of these crazy other, fuels they have. That's all you need. And then we've got a 5.5 gallon, they call these in California utility jug. I have to be careful with my wording here. They don't want you to call them fuel jugs in the People's Republic of California. So on the back side of this, it's pretty self-explanatory. You've got liters over here, so you can measure liters in these, but here in the States, we're going to do gallons. And you're never going to probably be mixing a gallon at a time. In this instance, we're going to mix a gallon for illustration purposes and because I just haven't been riding, so I'm probably going to pour this in my bike, and I don't know how long it's going to be before I ride, so we'll just do this for now, and I'll mix some more later. But usually you're going to mix 2.5, maybe even 5 if you're going out for the weekend. If you guys are running Banshees or stuff, you're just going to be constantly pouring fuel in. You can go up to 5.5 gallons. And I don't mix until I get there usually, because if somebody just needs regular gas or non-premix gas, you still have some in your jug. So you could do it when you get there, or if you're not going to be needing that in anybody else's machine, then go ahead and mix it now. So on to bigger, better things. Ratio right cup. So there's a few of these out there, guys. I'm going to try to hold this. I don't have Will, my cameraman, with me today. So this is what they call a ratio right. There's another cup that you can get. I think it's from Maxima. It's basically a cup with a lid. I kind of like these a little bit better. And this is kind of a dual use cup, or actually multiple use. This cup you can premix on the back side. So this is going to be gallons on the front, but if you turn them over, there's pints. It'll do cc's and fluid ounces. Cc's is real handy for fork oils. They go by cc's usually on the metric bikes. Ounces, you're going to use that too. I don't know about pints. And then so a real quick kind of rundown of this. On the front of this cup, you mix 2.5 gallons at a time. So if you're mixing 5 gallons, you're going to do this process twice for 5 gallons, what I'm showing you here. So you can mix 2.5, 2, 1.5, or what we're going to do today, which is just 1 gallon. And that's the minimum there, okay? And then as you come down the road beneath these, you'll see the ratios beneath them. So on 1 gallon, 8 to 1, 10 to 1, 12 to 1, 14 to 1. We're going to come right down here. I'm not holding this straight, but and my choice on two strokes for my race bikes is going to be 50 to 1. That's where we are right there. Motul 800 is expensive oil. And so for me, I can use a little bit less of this oil. It doesn't necessarily mean that oil is, you get a lot of opinions on this, guys. I'm a little bit of an oil nerd. The more oil, the more horsepower you have, but also the more oil you have, the more, if you're not really a intermediate or pro level rider, if you're just a novice or you're going out play riding, it's the cause of fouling plugs and soaking your packing and your silencers, having it drip down the silencer. It's real messy. This oil is more money, but you can run at 50 to 1. If you feel more comfortable at 44 to 1, then you just fill it up a little bit for you. You can see I've got a little bit between there right now. It's not a huge difference. I'll probably by the time I get it all out into the jug, it'll probably be closer to 44, but 50 to 1 was the goal here. 40 to 1 is very common, very, very common. And if you look at the manufacturers, they're going to tell you 32 to 1 on most dirt bikes. I find that to be very rich. If you want to do that on break-in, for the first ride or two, you can. That's okay. And if that works with you, there's nothing wrong with leaving it there. They tell you to do that, and if you don't have oil dripping everywhere, and you're not soaking, like I said, your silencer material or fouling plugs, or it's smoking an awful lot, the faster you are, the more you're on your bike on the gas, the less it's going to load up like that. So the Motul's really clean burning stuff, and I find you can mix it a little bit leaner, and it's amazing. You tear apart motors, and this stuff. I'll kind of show you the bottle here. This is what it looks like. This stuff's just amazingly clean. They put something, Motul, other oils have ester in it too, but Motul is really formulated around ester. It's not how much they put in there, it's the formula. You can put a bunch of salt and pepper on stuff, doesn't necessarily mean it's good. It's how much, right? How much of salt and pepper you put in there. Kind of the same good analogy for these. They're going to do it in liters. So versus other oils that are sold here in the States, those are going to be quarts. So you are getting more in this bottle. You're getting a liter out of it. So when you look at the price, you're actually getting more oil. You have to be careful too. 800 2T, which is this stuff, is sold in a dirt bike formula and a street bike formula. And so you have to look at the dude on the cover, and the sport bike looks just like it when you first look at it. So just don't get the street bike on there. It's got to have the dirt bike dude. They might have changed that. This is a fairly new bottle, but I know they were talking about changing that at some point because it was kind of hard to discern if you're just running by the parts counter and you grab one of these, you walk out the door. And these are cool bottles. They have the kind of, you can pull on the top. Okay, so that allows you to just kind of pour it out. Super handy, no less of a mess. So their packaging is very fancy. So I think between the two of those, that combo there, you got a 2-stroke. That's your game right there. Don't go buy nothing else. If you can afford it, go buy a bottle of 800 2T and some 110, and your bike's going to rip. And it's going to be really, really hard to beat. Unless you're on a budget, that's okay. And real quick, before we kind of get to the actual mixing here, which is going to be super fast, I talked a little bit earlier about choices of oils, right? Especially from motor oils to 2-stroke to all that. You can open up a huge can of worms with people. Everybody's very opinionated. It's the Ford, Chevy, Dodge thing. You're just going to, or Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Honda. You can argue one way or the other. All oils are very good now. Anybody making bad oil is out of business a long, long, long time ago. The only oils that I kind of stay away from, and people are going to trip on this, but is bean oils. So I kind of have an old bottle here, and you can tell it's old because I don't use it. There's nothing wrong with bean oils. Blendzol, this Castor 927, which is probably the one you're going to find at most shops. Bean oil is very protective. It's a very, very protective oil, very good quality when it comes to that, but it's also very dirty. So everybody likes the smell. You can argue with people. The bottom line is they like the way it smells. You'll get it out of them if you'll go back and forth long enough. Just admit it. You like the way it smells. That's okay. All 2-stroke smells. Even this stuff, when I fire this bike up with the 800 2T and the 110, it's going to smell awesome. But this stuff is just like times 10. The reason, when I say it's dirty, what happens with Castor, it's an old oil. They've been selling this for many, many, many years. In the 70s, this is the stuff. This is what you want. Maybe even the 80s. 2-stroke road bikes, and all 2-stroke, frankly. But with power valves and exhaust, chambers and silencers and anything that oil touches, even your cylinder, getting that oil in there and the exhaust port, it does really nasty things over time. People that run this for long periods of time usually end up losing horsepower because this stuff just solidifies inside the exhaust system. I've had to take chambers, like this off of old scooters and, that have this and have a muffler that's smaller than this, and throw them on fires or torch them because they just get clogged and you have to burn the stuff out of them. And so on the modern 2-strokes, except for maybe Banshees and some other stuff, you have a power valve in here. And then on this side of that, you have an exhaust port, which is just a hole where the exhaust comes out of. It'll eventually just narrow that down like a clogged artery. It'll just be nothing, and you'll be riding your bike around going, man, what's going on? And that's when you realize it. Then you'll clean it out and go, oh, this thing runs good now. You just don't realize it over time, So you've got to be really careful. Bikes with power valves. Plugs aren't cheap anymore. I don't know that they're any more or less susceptible to fouling. It's just really dirty oil. And I would say if you don't have to run bean oil, you don't want to, don't. If you go through your top ends all the time, you're a home mechanic and you know about this stuff and you're going to clean it out all the time, that's fine. If you want to go through that just for the smell, that's okay. but it's really not going to do anything for you. I just stay away from this stuff. I'm not a fan. I think this thing's almost full. Yeah, so I don't even know why it's still here. So anyway, back to the good stuff here. So I've got a gallon of EP in the jug, and we've already got our Motul in here. Oh, almost knocked that over. Boy, that would have been awesome, huh? Cut. Okay, so we're just gonna, typical, throw it in there. Don't ever pour the oil in the gas tank first. Always do this in a cup. I know that looks like dirt in the cup. It's not. That's actually, there is a little bit of stuff in there, but it's not anything out of the ordinary. So what you're going to want to do is kind of just let that drip, and then what I'll do is kind of just take my can, because it's going to stay in there. And actually, because I poured a little bit more in there than I'm supposed to, I might not need to do this, but sometimes I will just pour the remaining fuel in the cup and then slosh it around, and then, get it all out of there and put it in the utility jug, mix that stuff up. So after you do that, just put your cap back on here. All right, and that's easy peasy. You just want to give it, you don't have to, I've seen people do this and just get carried away. Give it a little slush, get it mixed up in there. Okay. And then you're eventually just going to do this again right before you put it in the bike. So you're going to want to, maybe before you get your gas cap off and you're ready to pour it in, give it another shake, give it a shake in there and get it all mixed in there, and then go ahead and pour it in, and you're ready to let it rip. I don't think there's anything I've left out here. You guys have questions on ratio rights or other mixing cups, or, mixing ratios, fuel, any of this stuff that we've kind of just gone over, please message me. And please like and subscribe. I'm just kind of getting these channels going. I have done some previous videos you guys have seen on Moonman Moto here from the store in Victorville. I'm probably not going to be doing a whole lot more new bike videos. I'm bad at them. So I'm going to do some here from my shop. I'm up here in Apple Valley, so beautiful day in Apple Valley here. I might just take a rip after this video and go see what kind of trouble I can get into around my house. So let me know. I also have a lot of, other chemical experiences, and I'm going to be doing other videos that kind of are going to focus on maintenance stuff. So we're going to talk a little bit about cleaning air filters. Okay, properly doing that, handy ways of keeping a spare filter, lubing and adjusting chains, possibly tire replacements. This bike is so new, I don't need to do anything yet, but changing grips. All these things seem basic, but they can be kind of trivial. There's a lot of time to be saved if you guys watch some more of these videos. And I'm going to find some more stuff that's just kind of your everyday dirt bike, ATV, even side-by-side stuff that kind of applies to those too. So keep watching my vids, guys. I really appreciate you guys watching, and there's going to be good stuff to come. So please like and subscribe and share these videos with anybody that that's new into dirt bikes. I have a lot of stuff coming out, and I'm hoping to get into some giveaways. I kind of get lots of good stuff from vendors and shops, and so I love to do that stuff. I love to hook you guys up. I just love to do it. It makes me feel so good, and you guys can use it. So have a great day. Take your bikes out today. It's Saturday, at least here for me. So go let her rip and enjoy yourselves. Life is short, so have fun, guys, and moto on. Have a good one. Bye-bye.